Today's class, we're on day 5 of our breathwork. Yay! So today's class is just going to be a kundalini practice. Kundalini wakening up the spine, and then we'll go into a sensual serpent breathing. And I thought that I'd skip our Kali message for the day and read this excerpt from this little book that I have. It's called Strands of Eternity, from an incredible doctor in Ayurveda. If you're interested in Ayurveda, he's definitely worth looking into. He has a school in the States, Dr. Lad, and his book is Strands of Eternity. So I was reading it this morning and I thought, we'll take a little break from Kali's energy, as it's been pretty powerful so far. And I'll read a little excerpt in here on the ego. And then I'll explain the approach to our Kundalini breathwork today, and then we'll get into the practice. So I wanted to share a little bit on the ego, since it's been a topic coming up this week. Especially around Kali, because Kali, she's fierce and she's scary looking. And with many goddesses in the Mahavidyas, she holds a skull, and she has a skull belt, and she holds a human head. And this represents demons. So she's the slayer of demons, and demons represent the ego. So limiting beliefs, conditioned beliefs, she's the slayer of it. So I thought I would share a little bit on this, as I like this, to be more clear on what the ego is exactly. Because if you Google it and look online, or if you look it up on YouTube, there's all different kinds of ideas around what it is. And at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. It's simply just part of this existence. So I think he has a good explanation of it in here. Really speaking, there is no ego. It's an empty shell, a shadow, a process. Your body is made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Where is the ego? Ego is not a substance. It is a shadow of memory, a shadow of knowledge. Watch the emptiness of the ego every moment. Breathing is the first door of ego. You think you're breathing your body, but what you see in the rise and fall of your breath is the work of God. You do not know. You are not doing it. Respiration just happens. The moment you say, I am breathing, you open the door of ego. Desires and thoughts then enter through your breath. Breath comes from God, from nothingness, not from you. Let your breathing be a worship to prana, the creative dynamic force. When you breathe with awareness, you allow God to breathe through you. Close the door of ego, which enters through the breath. Doing is the second door of ego. The ego says, I can do it. Not doing is the ending of the ego. Not doing is meeting nothingness. Workaholism is childish. It enhances the concept of me and my. A child learns to throw a ball, and he derives self-esteem from that act. You have become addicted to the rewards. Now you throw the ball in order to get the reward. The world calls this growth, achievement, fame. While doing art, the artist is not. Art happens. It is the continuous, spontaneous flow of intelligence. So far, so good. But when picture is done, ego comes, and artist signs his name. How ridiculous. The bird, though he flies with grace, does not leave fingerprints in the sky. Name is the third door of ego. Name is the preoccupation with identity. My father is better than your father, or my guru is better than your guru. It may be a good idea to change your name. Merely carrying a label of religion that says, I belong to this or that religion, does not make you truly religious. True religion has no objective. Objectives are identification. Why do you need such identification? You are anonymous. You are without attribute. Nothingness is real sanity. Running away from nothingness is insanity. Come to rest in your nothingness. Reasoning is the fourth door of ego. The ego asks, why does it happen? Why do you do that? I want to know. It is a fruitless question, for no reasoning whatsoever can satisfy the ego. Becoming is the fifth door of ego. You are always seeking to become more than you are. You want to advance in society. Everyone wants to become somebody. No one wants to become nobody. Becoming is running away from being. When you try to become somebody, you run away from what you already are. The wanting after somebodyness is the beginning of madness. All possibilities are there when you remain with what you are. Do not run after what should be, would be, could be. This is madness. Be with what is. Slip into that nothingness, enter into nirvana, blow out the flame of ego, and disappear into eternity. Closing the eyes for a moment and just taking in those words. And really, the reflection there is that when we are looking externally, when we have too much energy in the identity or the ego, that's madness, that's suffering. So it's this beautiful balance for me of coming back to the self so powerfully that everything begins there, but also still thriving, still becoming, but having such a strong relationship with self-awareness, that relationship always comes first. And then anything externally, we're not relying on it for our happiness, for our pleasure, for achievement, validation. It's just a bonus, a beautiful bonus, a luxury, whether it's relationships, career advancements, whatever it may be. We thrive for them because that's part of this human experience. But knowing that it's all just like a cherry on top of the cake. But the cake is you, your relationship to self, who you are in this moment, here and now. And then everything else is just a beautiful bonus that you get to enjoy, but not attaching to, not seeing as your identity. And when he says, maybe you should change your name, I always laugh at that part because I think it may be a good idea to change your name. But it's funny because when you change your name, it's really the purpose of saying that is to not attach to your identity, because up until this point in your life, you know, I've been Krystal for so long that I have so many ideas around who Krystal is, this character that I've known since birth. So he says, maybe you should change your name. So rebirthing and detaching from that identity. Okay, so if you just joined, we're going to do a little kundalini breathing and awakening the spine this morning. So while we do this breath, it's similar to our breath of fire. And in kundalini, we're closing the eyes and focusing on the third eye point through the whole practice. So if you're doing this sequence on your own, your eyes stay closed and your awareness is very internal. So closing the eyes, and I invite you to either use the mantra that we use in Kundalini, which is Satnam. Satnam means truth is my identity. So that's really releasing the ego, coming back to your truth, your authentic power, and also in doing so, remembering your connection to all. So it's similar to Namaste. You're honoring the wisdom, the eternal wisdom, but also connected to all beings on this planet when you say that. So you can use that mantra, or you can use your word that we came up with the first day of this journey. And we're repeating it. And this internal mantra, while we're practicing, really allows us to drop out of the mind and into meditation as we move. So it's similar like yesterday's practice. It's like a dynamic meditation. So yes, we're moving and we're manipulating the breath, but we're also staying internal and allowing that movement to be a meditation, to be a prayer. So with each breath, either repeating that word or Satnam. And then the breathing is like the breath of fire. So in and out of the nostril. Then we'll go into what I've called the sensual serpent breath. It's my favorite breath work. And I'll just explain it now so that we can smoothly go through the sequence. So we're inhaling like a straw through the mouth. And the inhale is 100% a big inhale, like filling up as much as you can. So the exhale is like 60, 70%. It's a little bit faster. And then a really big inhale. And it's like, it should be an orgasmic breath. For me, it's very pleasurable. And my word for this week was ecstasy. So I'm going to be breathing in ecstasy. And I visualize a lot of my meditations. If you've been in an online or in-person circle with me, I usually start our meditation, our very first one, as bringing our roots down to the earth and connecting through the roots of the earth. So when I do this breath, I envision that those roots coming from my root chakra are absorbing all of that Shakti nectar, that goodness from earth, as well as my connection to my sisters, to my community. And I'm really breathing all that healing, goddess, motherly energy into my being, allowing it to fill up, seeing it expanding. And then, I have a bird at my window that's looking at me right now. It's cute. Okay, so then it just fills up fully, and that's what I visualize. And then again, with the exhale, I'm releasing anything that I'm ready to let go of. So I just invite you, of course, you can visualize whatever you want, but it's very healing for me to just visualize that whole healing energy filling up my being as I exhale, letting go. Okay, so we will begin. You'll want to begin this sitting as I am if you can, but you can also be sitting in a chair. And before we do breath work, I didn't mention this before, but it's great to blow your nose too, just so you're not worrying about like being messy while we're in meditation. So blow your nose, have a little bit of water, and we'll begin. So sitting up tall, taking a couple deep breaths into the hips and all the way into the root chakra. Audible exhale out of the mouth, letting go of any tension. Dropping into the space, letting go of any thoughts of your day and just being present for this short sequence together. Maybe moving a little. Begin some gentle circles with the neck. Again, through this practice, leaving your eyes closed as much as you can. Of course, you can look at me for guidance. But doing your best to keep your awareness internal. Just releasing tension in the neck, in the shoulders, in the other direction. Dropping into your body. Enjoying that stretch. Deep breathing. I'm just looking side to side. Finding your own rhythm. We'll begin some body circles. Exhaling back, inhaling forward. Deep breathing. Waking up the spine. Feeling your connection to the earth, to Shakti below. your groundedness. Exhaling out of the mouth, letting any sound out. And switching direction. And coming back to center, bringing your fingertips to your shoulders, elbows or shoulder height. We'll begin twisting back and forth with the breath of fire. Letting your neck, your head move naturally. Repeating either your word, your internal mantra with this movement. Powerful breath. A little faster. Last few. Back to center, inhale, touching the backs of the hands together, squeezing in, holding the breath, containing all of that energy, squeezing the perineum, the lower belly, and relaxing, exhale. Relaxing the hands down, palms up for a moment, and just witnessing. Few deep breaths here. Noticing how you're feeling. Noticing how your energy is this morning or this afternoon. Just witnessing. Bring your hands in front of your ankles. Begin like a cat-cow, pushing forward, inhaling, exhale, rounding the spine. Starting a little slower. Waking up the spine in every way so we can really get our energy flowing. And these practices are great if you have a sitting job, if you're sitting at your desk a lot, or first thing in the morning. Focusing on the third eye point, picking up the pace a little. And again, that internal mantra, allowing that word, that mantra to move you. Not moving ahead too much. Movements coming from the torso. Maybe focusing on the solar plexus. Faster, more powerful breaths. Relaxing the face muscles. Really generating energy, waking up the whole spine. Being fully present with the breath, with the body. Powerful, powerful breath. Almost done. Giving it all your power. Faster. Inhale in. Containing that energy, containing that breath. Letting go. Few deep breaths here. We'll now go into our sensual serpent breath. Depending on how your knees are, you can go on your knees if you'd like. Sometimes I put a pillow just in between my, like a bolster or a pillow to help with my knees, or you can just stay cross-legged. So I get very into it. I like to use my hands. I like to use visualization. Again, really calling in that energy. This is great to do right against the earth, but you can still visualize that you're right against the earth, calling that in, and then allowing the exhale to be detoxifying, cleansing. So again, straw, breathing 100%, and then exhale. So we'll begin. We'll do a couple of rounds. And again, we'll start slower and then we'll go faster as we go. Moving the spine with this movement. Any sound that wants to come through, allowing it to be expressed. Wow. Wow. Going a little faster. Faster. And even faster. Relaxing down. Inhale, filling up, containing, containing. And exhale. Removing the neck, releasing any tension. Just witnessing for a moment any new energy, any tingling, how you're feeling. If you're feeling turned on, it's my intention to be turned on by life. We put all these ideas around sexual energy, but it doesn't need to be just sexual around our sex organs. It's literally awakening every cell in our being to be turned on by existence. The password for this is more life. And that's what I mean by it. Breathing in more life, opening the senses in every moment, in each moment. We can come deeper. We can invite in more life, releasing distractions and being fully present with what is. So for this next final round, inviting you to be fully present with the breath, getting out of the mind, allowing the breath to be ecstatic. And what that means is the breath is moving you. Life is moving you. Not worrying if you're doing it right, not worrying if you look funny, if you sound funny. Allowing life to move through you, to welcome more in, to allow the breath to move you, to allow your word to move you. So we'll begin. Starting this one very slow and intentional. Allow your breath as your way of making love to this life, of making love to existence. How good it feels to be alive. Picking up the pace as you would like, finding your own rhythm. Faster. More life, more energy, more receptiveness. Faster, faster, more powerful, more powerful. Last inhale, holding, containing, coming back to your center. And exhale when you're ready, letting go of all you're ready to release. And witnessing in silence for a moment, palms up, returning your breath to normal. And while we're here, closing this practice with an intention for the rest of your day or evening, whatever comes through, setting that intention now. Maybe having the intention to leave this practice a little more peaceful, a little more present, a little more pleasured, knowing that in any moment we can change our energetic signature, our energetic experience. We can welcome in more life. And as we welcome in more life, which is really welcoming in more breath, more life force energy, it cleanses and releases whatever we've been holding within our body, whatever's ready to go. This is the power of the breath. It's detoxifying, cleansing, empowering, awakening. And it's ours to use as much as we'd like. Thank you for joining me, my loves, staying with yourself in presence if you desire, journaling anything that may come up for you, sharing in our group if you feel called to. And I'll see you tomorrow. Sat Nam.